We've got whole families of folks living in shacks up in the hills. No power, no water. Grandma and the great-grandkids sleeping 3 to a bunk while Mommy and Daddy make more. We've got gun nuts. We've got bunkers and compounds. We've got free thinkers, anarchists, nihilists, Democrats, and God knows what else. But I'm telling you what I saw up there at Eden's Gate. The conviction they have, the goddamn power they gave to the words of the Father, it was infectious. It got damn near under my skin. And they're believers, you know, every one of them. And that's not to say a bad thing about them or to question their faith, but I tell you, it scared me more than anything I have yet seen in this life, and there's not a thing I can do about that. Because you know what? It's perfectly legal. You practice that? Mary May asked. I tell it to myself every night before bed. She turned to the door and opened it. He's my brother. He's all I have left, she said, and walked out. Mary May was halfway up the mountain when she saw the white church truck appear in her rear view. It followed her for another 5 miles. She raised her eyes on it at every turn of the road, watching the far trees and the bend of the asphalt where the road disappeared, but the truck never wavered, always appearing again from out of the curve and following along as if the two, her red Ford pickup and the white church pickup, had been tethered together with rope, one dragging the other right behind. She went another mile before she pulled over on the side of the road and turned off the engine. She brought up her father's old chrome-plated .38 and set it on the dash before her. If there was someone to call, she would have done it right then, but there was no one to call, and no signal to get in all of Hope County, so she waited for the white truck to break from around the last curve. When the truck pulled into the gravel behind her, she recognized the man sitting in the driver's seat, John Seed. She had known him for almost half her life, and she had, at one time, thought of him as just another human being in this world, but not any more. He was something dangerous to her and to any that seemed to chance across his way. He and his brothers ran Eden's Gate, and if anyone knew what had happened to her father, or where she might be able to find her brother, it was John Seed. She watched him push open the door, and then stand. He was 10 years older than her, and near 6 foot, with brown hair and a beard that covered the lower half of his face. In the mirror she could see how he kept his eyes on her, then reached back inside the truck and brought something out of the cab. Mary May thought maybe it was a gun, but she could not be sure. He lifted the tail of his shirt and hid away whatever it was. When he walked up to her, she had already cracked her window. "You scared?" John asked. She looked at him. "Should I be?" He stood there a few seconds more, and then he put a hand out and ran his fingers across the top of her window, his fingertips within the cab. "You got a license for that thing?" he asked, nodding to the gun on the dash, his fingertips lingering on the top of the window before he took them back. Her eyes went to the gun, and then she looked back on John, where he'd taken a step back and stood a little way apart from her truck, like maybe he expected her to use it. "It was Daddy's," she said. She watched him. He seemed to be considering what the right response might be. "I was sorry to hear about him," John said, and she thought, well, that almost sounded human. "He was coming up here to get Drew when it happened." "Is that right?" "Now I'm coming up to get Drew and tell him to come home." "I heard about that, too." "You have?" "Sure," John said. "I hear all kinds of things from the people I know. I hear you all are still serving alcohol even though we asked you not to. That's just one of the things I hear." She looked at him as if he might be stupid, but she knew very well that he was not. "How do you expect me to keep running a bar with no alcohol?" "I don't." He said it very matter of fact, and she knew he meant it.